Yamunatira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Prahlad Nrsimha Jaya Anantadev Prahlad Nrsimha Jaya Anantadev जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव सुभद्रा माई जय सुदर्शन जय राधा माधव अष्ट सखी गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहिए जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन जी महाराज की ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मैया की जमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी की भक्ति देवी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam daivim saraswati vyasam ततो जयो मुदीरयेत नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नष्टकी. Hare Krishna. We would be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, verse number 34. ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ nityam vāṅ-manasaḥ param ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ nityam vāṅ-manasaḥ param ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ nityam vāṅ-manasaḥ param ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ nityam vāṅ-manasaḥ param ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ nityam vāṅ-manasaḥ param ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ nityam vāṅ-manasaḥ param. Mataji. ataḥ param sūkṣmatamam avyaktam nirviśeṣaṇam anādi-madhya-nidhanaṁ Okay. Ataḥ, therefore, param, transcendental, sūkṣmatamam, finer than the finest, avyaktam, unmanifested, nirviśeṣaṇam, without material features, anādi, without beginning, madhya, without an intermediate stage, nidhanam, without end, nityam, eternal, vāk, words, manasaḥ, of the mind, param, transcendental. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation, kindly repeat after me. Therefore, beyond this, gross manifestation is a transcendental manifestation, finer than the finest form. It has no beginning, no intermediate stage, and no end. Therefore, it is beyond the limits of expression or mental speculation and is distinct from the material conception. Purport. The gross external body of the Supreme is manifested at certain intervals, and thus the external feature of or form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not the eternal form of the Lord, which has no beginning, no intermediate stage, and no end. Anything which has a beginning, interim, and end is called material. The material world is begun from the Lord, and thus the form of the Lord before the beginning of the material world is certainly transcendental to the finest or the finer material conception. The ether in the material world is considered to be the finest. Finer than the ether is mind, intelligence, and false ego. But all 8 of the outward coverings are explained as outer coverings of the Absolute Truth. The Absolute Truth is therefore beyond the expression and speculation of the material conception. He is certainly transcendental to all material conceptions. This is called nirviśeṣaṇam. One should not, however, misunderstand nirviśeṣaṇam as being without any transcendental qualifications. Viśeṣaṇam means qualities. Therefore, nir added to it means that he has no material qualities or variegatedness. This nullifying expression is described in 4 transcendental qualifications, namely unmanifested, transcendental, eternal, and beyond the conception of mind or word. Beyond the limits of words means negation of the material conception. Unless one is transcendentally situated, it is not possible to know the transcendental form of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyaham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Viśeṣaṇam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. On behalf of ISKCON Mayapur, I once again welcome all of you to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. This chapter 10, titled as Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And Shukadeva Maharaj begins with the famous verse where the 10 elements of this Mahapuran have been at least enumerated with their titles, so Sarg, Visarg, and so on and so forth. And then in a succinct form, very quickly Shukadeva Maharaj takes Maharaj Parikshit through the process of creation. It's a summarized form, but its focus is on primary creation, which is Sarga. And therefore it talks about the Purusha avatar, Lord Vishnu, in the Karan ocean first, subsequently in the Garbha ocean, and then the Kshira Sagar, as we say. But if you look at the verse closely and then you look at the purport, Srila Prabhupada highlights that the word nir has been added, and then he uses the word negation. And from here we will try to enter into some kind of a deliberation as what does it mean. What happens is when you want to explain something transcendental, then by the very definition you can't explain. So now there are two ways. You stop talking about it, or you explain by the process of negation. So Krishna took this approach in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, or Nainam dehati pavaka. So this Nainam, and then the whole concept of Naiti, that also. Why do we take shelter of this approach? Because there is no other way to explain. But have we experienced transcendence by this explanation? No, we haven't. So then what have we done? This is called process of elimination. You eliminate your choices. Okay, at least this is not there. This is not there. This is also not there. I don't know what it is, but for sure it is not there. Subsequently, logically speaking, it results into disassociation with all that has been neglected. So then you start, maintaining distance. And that's what you call vairagya or detachment, because the Shastra has given a specific injunction. So much so that even if you somehow try to go beyond the stage of negation, the next stage is a stage of analogy. So you keep saying Charana Kamal, Kar Kamal, Mukh Kamal, Kamal Nayan, because what choice do you have? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kadambini, towards the end, once the sadhak has crossed the 8 stages and the sadhak meets Krishna face to face, and the Lord, looking at him, runs towards him, and the devotee runs towards the Lord, and they embrace each other. And Krishna momentarily faints into the arms of his devotee, both of them copiously crying. And Krishna says, "Oh, what all you underwent to obtain my favor, and you disregarded bodily comforts because I was the object of your meditation, and I am indeed indebted to you." While Krishna is saying this, the devotee says something else. He says, No. It's not that. Rather, I have committed innumerable offenses at your lotus feet. And that thing, Krishna then inquires, I don't think you have committed any offense. That's where the devotee explains that, my dear Lord, today when I'm looking at you face to face, I'm looking at these eyes. When we call your eyes lotus eyes, it was an insult to you, because the lotus petals, the beauty of the lotus petal has no standing before these beautiful eyes. So any analogy that we tend to come up with to explain the spiritual or transcendental phenomenon, that can either be negation or a substandard analogy, because all that is being stated is in the realm of material atmosphere. Another thing I want to highlight here is that the material and the transcendental being finer than the finest, it can, it's a mesh. It can pop up anywhere. It's not like this is distinct, there is nothing spiritual here, and here everything is spiritual. So like we are staying here in Sridham Mayapur, and as all of you are aware, Dham is covered with a layer, and those who are above the layer don't get to experience. But the moment you have spiritual thoughts which are pertaining to the permanent, thoughts that promote in you the loving service or devotional attitude, those thoughts immediately transfer you into the spiritual realm. Point being made is, as long as there is obsession and deep absorption with the temporary self, there will be no spiritual environment. And when you move from self-obsession, and the self word here is wrong identification of the real self, and you move towards permanent, you move towards spiritual, then that atmosphere becomes spiritual. So then what's the point? The point is that many of you, particularly you brahmacharis, young ones, often your parents, when they get tired, they can't reason it out why are you leaving everything? So they ask you, what are you getting there? What is it that you find there so joyful? And your problem is you can't explain. Only two ways, either negate or give an analogy. They are not in a mood. They say, tell me what it is. And you say, no, I can't tell you because I don't know what it is. I mean, look at those 2-3 days of Janmashtami and then Prabhupada Vyasa Puja and that whole thing, and devotees serving day in and day out. And then one drop of bliss, one drop of mercy falls on the plane of consciousness, and instantly you feel so worthless and so contaminated that just looking at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, you say, I am just useless, but somehow or other, by Srila Prabhupada's direction and his mercy, I am experiencing this which I can't explain. And that state of confusion for all of you, because then your parents doubt you all the more. That it means he is, he's being brainwashed, he doesn't even know what joy he is getting out of it. But your problem is you can't explain it. And that's the problem each one of us face. Can you show us God? And we are like, Preaching without the mercy of Lord Nityananda is impossible. It's not difficult, it is impossible. Because each one of us gets motivated with some paritoshit, some benefit. Sometimes people say that, the other, institutions which promote some form of spirituality, they have millions and millions of followers. And I'm like, if you call a group of people every Sunday for 1 hour or 2 hours, and then you have great party, you can flock people. Ram Rahim had huge following, and Asaram also had huge following. But this is the beauty of our process. You can't make someone chant for 2 hours, day after day, when nobody is watching. Is it that you chant because you have to report to your counselor? Well, really not. First is you want to do it. And I haven't seen Nitai, you haven't seen him either. And if somebody has, then please enlighten us. But we are doing it. And then so many senior citizens, with a lot of effort, they come to the morning program. Why are they coming? Is there somebody to discipline them, punish them if they don't do it? No, there's nobody. But they're still doing it. That dravya, and dravya I'm not saying material dravya, that spiritual element which draws us and makes us do things which we would only do for something transcendental, which we would not, given a choice. If somebody tells you there is no spiritual joy in what you are doing, but you will get a lot of fame, many of us would stop doing it. Because fame is, after a while, it is dry. It doesn't give you that rasa, that mellow. Just because I saw these two kids, I'm giving you an example. I know Achintya Prabhu's family for a decade now. I have seen Madhav in Mangalarati in front of Lord Narasimhadev. And one day I told his father also that seeing him and his consistency, he tries to be there. This is amazing training. Because these impressions will support him when he will go out and preach. When he will be hit by the waves of material thoughts. And that this training will give him such an immense cushion, he doesn't know it. And all of this is being done to please Guru, and then Guru's Guru, and ultimately Krishna. So not only you are going through something, whoever follows you, you want him also to go close to Krishna. Coming back to the verse being discussed, that the term transcendental, we can't define it. And scriptures also keep saying naiti naiti. Not neither this nor that, neither this nor that. I'll tell you a story. We will leave the Mayavadi part of the story. But so there was this one person, he was he was very inquisitive. So from south, he took a kind of a pile of sticks on his head, and he started searching for a spiritual master. He came across many people, and he kept asking one question. He said, please tell me, who is this person who makes me see through my eyes? And who is this person who makes me hear through my ears? And who is this person who makes me speak through my tongue? Why was he asking? Because he had not read this chapter 10. Otherwise, he would have understood in previous verses who is doing it. But anyways, so he got some answers, didn't feel satisfied. He kept moving up. He went to Himalayas. There he came across this very effulgent character, and he asked again. But this time when he looked at him, he dropped that pile of sticks. And he said, please tell me, who is making me see through my eyes? I hope we are connecting that dead body also has the eyesight, but it can't see. We remove the eyes and we donate the eyes because the eyes can see for a while. Which means something goes out and you cannot see. So this fellow, the Guru said, Tattvam asi. He said, what does that mean? Guru said, over. And the Guru left for a meditation in the nearby cave. So this fellow was wandering, thinking about Tattvam asi. And he went and told the Guru. He said, oh, okay, so Tattvam asi means this. Without even hearing him attentively, the Guru said, naiti, naiti. Next time he again meditated on the bank of the river, deep meditation, and they said, maybe Tattvam asi is this and this. So he went to the Guru and shared, and the Guru once again, naiti, naiti. After a while, the disciple stopped going to the Guru. One day, both of them met at the bank of the river. And Guru just said, so, Tattvam asi. So the disciple folded his hand, he said, Aham Brahmasmi. Point being made is, as I said, if some of you think that Tattvam asi and Aham Brahmasmi, we know very distinctively through chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita also, that there are liberated beings, conditioned beings, and then there is Supreme Person. So if we are Brahman, Krishna is Parabrahman. And that distinction must be always kept in mind. So Aham Brahmasmi is perfectly okay as long as you know that there is somebody beyond that stage also. Coming back to this analogy, the sticks on the head of the student was his previously acquired knowledge born out of ignorance. That surge pulled his consciousness up, so from south to north. And when he gave up that previous knowledge at the lotus feet of the spiritual master, he became light, which means surrender. Shishyastayaham shadimam tvam prapanne. So that prapanne thing happened. Once you have given up previously acquired learnings which are material, then you are in tune to learn new things. But the point for which the story was told, Tattvam asi to Aham Brahmasmi, Guru couldn't take you. He kept saying naiti naiti, because he knew you can bring the cake all the way to your mouth, but ultimately if the tongue doesn't taste it, you can't describe it. The tongue has to taste it for you to describe it. Similarly, transcendental knowledge can only be experienced on the platform of soul. And from here I am entering into the third section, and that's the most amazing and beautiful thing that I have found in my life and you all have found in your lives. And that is the holy names. Because Srila Prabhupada mentions that it does not sprout from the platform of mind, intelligence or false ego. Hare Krishna Mahamantra sprouts from the platform of soul, and therefore it is not dependent on any of these finer organs for it to work upon you. Like if you have fever and you don't know what crocin is, but you still take that tablet, the fever goes away. So you knowing it or you not knowing it is immaterial. The tablet is going to work on you. And that's exactly the beauty of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as well. Anyone who chants it attentively, consistently and unoffensively, I repeat, attentively, consistently and unoffensively, he can experience that mellow. Because when you go and stand in front of the deities, or when you look at spiritual master or some senior devotees and you feel ashtasattvic vikar, that is happening because that rasa is manifesting and you have no explanation. You have no explanation. The tears of joy that you shed, by the way, the tears of joy, Acharya has mentioned, and some of you must be knowing it, but they come from the middle of the eye and they are cold. And the material tears come from the corner of the eye and they are hot. So next time when you cry, you can distinguish whether it's born out of spiritual ecstasy or otherwise. But coming back to the glory of the holy name, that it surpasses and therefore it is transcendental. Even for Srimad Bhagavatam, they say, Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu, but they still say Nashta prayeshu. Almost is a doubtful word here. They are not saying completely. Whatever is contaminated in you will be completely though it is a literary incarnation of the Lord. It says prayeshu. But when it comes to the holy names, the 7 promises made by Lord Chaitanya, and the last one particularly, where they say the soul gets satisfied completely. And then, as they say, Chaito Darpan, Marjanam Bhavamaha Davagni, Nirvapanam Shreyah Kairav, Chandrika Vitaranam, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, Anand Ambudhi Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purnamrit Aswadanam. Now up to this, the only thing is Purnamrit, but after that, Sarvatma Snapanam, here no prayeshu. Sarvatma Snapanam. So therefore, the holy names, it couldn't get better than this, that we are, contaminated and ill-fortuned and short lifespan, short memory as it is described. But kalo doshe nidhi rajan eko asti hai vek mahan gun kirtanadi eva krishnasya. That is transcendence. And that transcendence, golokera premadhan harinama sankirtan, that transcendence came down. And it made itself accessible. All of us know very well that it's only hearing and speaking. When Srila Prabhupada was asked by a disciple that when I chant, my mind goes here and there, and Prabhupada categorically replied, he said, what has mind got to do with chanting? You hear from your ear and you speak from your tongue, and game over. and people don't believe it. We are so focused on our obsession with thinking. Like, let me give you an example. Everybody thinks that if he or she doesn't think, the life won't go on. That's how we think. But when you sleep, digestion goes on, indeed in a better way. And metabolism works better. Memory circuit feels more refreshed. Everything is finer. Why is it so? You are not thinking. Even then things move. You may think that, Vrindavan is in Telangana, but by your thinking, Vrindavan doesn't go to Telangana. It remains there where it is. So your thinking is not a very big thing. You tend to believe that my thinking matters. Beyond that stage of thinking is the stage of attentive hearing. When you say Krishna and you hear Krishna, when you say Ram and you hear Ram, and when you say Hare, you hear Hare, then it transports you. Whenever that thing happens, rasa follows. When that thing does not happen, you can continue thinking. Every thought lowers the speed of chanting, even if it is an auspicious thought. It lowers because the thought is intervening in this process, and direct access to that transcendence. You don't need any philosophy of negation, philosophy of analogy. You directly experience, here it is. That's why Prabhupada would feel more and more, Prabhupada's conviction in holy names and his way of saying that holy names can transport you, because that's what is available now. The other three methods of self-realization and God-realization have become so difficult to perform, and it's going to take a long time before we relish the rasa. But even if a child chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he experiences it. So this nir word used here, not just nir word, actually if you look at it, it says anādi. Again, how do you explain? No beginning. Just understand, no beginning. The point being made is intelligence is very fine. Finer than ether is mind, finer than mind is intelligence. But Krishna is man agochar, vani agochar, buddhi agochar. Again, many of our acharyas, they weren't great orators, but their presence filled the whole atmosphere with so much spiritual charge that you automatically feel joyful. And there is no explanation for that. Therefore, as I am heading towards the conclusion, if you want a take-home message, the take-home message is that our conviction should deepen more that holy name's mercy is not dependent on our thinking of it. And the quickest way to experience transcendence is via chanting. Nitya siddha Krishna prem sadhya kabau nae, shravanadi shuddha chitte koriya uday. It did not say mananadi shuddha chitte, chintanadi shuddha chitte. It did not say that. It says shravanadi shuddha chitte. This slightly subtle and deep concept gets missed out time and again, because we are conditioned to continuously think about the temporary self. So Shastra reminds us and then we again forget. Again someone reminds us, we again forget. So the take-home message for this part, and then the second part, and I would kind of close the session there, is transcendence which cannot be explained but can be experienced in the quickest fashion by the holy names. Harinam Sankirtan ki. And all of you who are going out, all of us who are going out to preach, as Srimad Bhagavatam says in the 10th canto, Bhuvi grananti ye bhurida jana. By the way, sometimes we think that tranadapi sunichen and tarorapi sahishrunana. So we imagine insults to say, oh, tranadapi, I have to be tranadapi. And tarorapi means, oh, I must do, Nirjala Ekadashi and become more tolerant and things like that. Actually, the tarorapi sahishruna is, you take pains for chanting and you take pains for preaching. That's all. When I look at, not because he's my spiritual master, but all of us here in ISKCON, we look up to His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. But when I look at him and his spirit to continuously preach, that's when we understand tarorapi sahishnuna. So from that Kanishtha platform, merely by looking at him, you get transported. And you feel, oh, okay, he is tolerating titikshva because he is karunika. And subsequently, suhurid sarvadehinam. And then of course, ajat shatrava. Point being made is this only. Transcendence can never be defined. You can take these two roots of negation and comparison. However, transcendence can be made to taste by offering this chanting process to whoever. Jare dekho tare kaho, Krishna Upadesh. Amaragnya Guru hai, taro hai desh. Second point which is here is about nirviśeṣaṇam, barely 5-7 minutes, and then, I'm sorry, this became little dense and I caused you some intellectual anxiety, but there was no choice. Nirviśeṣaṇam term, and the moment I read it, I knew that Prabhupada in the Purport is going to now, because Prabhupada looks for an opportunity to time and again, thrash or bash, whatever you want to say, the Mayavadis. For us, what is to be understood is this. Variegatedness exists in material sphere as well as in spiritual sphere. And somehow, because of all the kind of spiritual topics we are told before we join Krishna consciousness, they promote a version where in spiritual realm there is no variegatedness. Because you connect variegatedness with desires. But the fact is, variegatedness is desire to serve or desire to enjoy. Both ways you can have variegatedness. When I have a desire to enjoy, then also I create. When I have a desire to serve, then also I create. For example, Her Grace Jamuna Mataji, once His Grace Hari Sauri Prabhu was sharing with me. He said, whatever Jamuna would do, she will put so much of Krishna consciousness in that it is a small activity of, just making a chapati. But her devotional attitude will fill the whole thing with so much of Krishna consciousness that you can experience it then and there. That's the attitude of service with variegatedness. She did not know how to peel potatoes when she first time met Srila Prabhupada. How many of you know this story, how Jamuna Mataji met Srila Prabhupada? All of you know? No? Okay. So there were two sisters, Jane and John. And so one sister received a mail, not an email, a mail, that her other sister is getting married and an Indian Swami is performing the marriage. So she went there. So when she went there in the kitchen, she saw this old man, topless, and he was doing something with a frying pan. And she looked at this old person, he looked at her and he said, come. she came in and he said, can you help me? She said, no, I have never been into a kitchen. I don't know what to do. He said, can you just peel this off? She said, I can try. He said, okay, wash your hands and try. And that girl started trying. After a while, she could do something. But she being she said, you know what, I need a cigarette break. And Prabhupada said, okay, you go, you take a cigarette break. She came back, Prabhupada said, wash your hands again and now start. While she was doing this, Prabhupada came with a brown ball and he gave it to her and he said, taste it. She had seen the amount of sugar that was there, and Dinatarani Mataji writes in a book called Unalloyed, which she wrote for Jamuna Mataji. She said when Jamuna put that gulab jamun on her tongue, it was a blast of sweetness. And for a calorie conscious person, it's like harakiri, it's like suicide. So, and Prabhupada said, how is it? And she said, it's good. She returns with 3 cantos of Bhagavatam, doesn't come out of her house for 2 months. She goes back to the old man and she said, this life belongs to you, please instruct. And that Jamuna Mataji, who did not know how to peel a potato, went on to win cookery awards on American television many a times. Prabhupada would relay transcendence and destroy the material life of whoever came in contact with him. We are fortunate to have Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu and many other disciples who are, who had the good fortune of associating with Srila Prabhupada. So Vishesh is variegatedness, and it exists in both these spheres or both the dimension of service or the dimension of enjoyment. So the Champaklata and the Chitra and all these Sakhis, they also create immense amount of variegatedness because they want to please Radha and Krishna. And then our movies also create immense amount of variegatedness because they want to enjoy. I'll tell you a small thing. Lord Ramachandra, after killing Ravan, he told Hanuman, he said, Hanuman, go and convey to Sita that Ravan has been killed and very soon I will come to take you. When Lord Hanuman goes there, he becomes, his chest swells up and his eyes also swell up. And he said, Mata Janaki, when my Lord killed Ravan, I felt as if I won the 3 worlds. Now, who killed whom? Ram killed Ravan. Why did he kill? Because he wanted to reclaim his wife. Why is Hanuman happy? And Hanuman is happier than Ram. He is saying, when my Lord killed Ravan, I felt as if I have won the 3 worlds. That's devotee. He is Krishna Sukhe Sukhi and Paradukhe Dukhi. So that is how Ravan wants to take Sita away. Hanuman wants to see Sita and Ram together. That's devotee. And we all want to serve Radha and Krishna together. That's why I keep saying Radha Krishna Pranamora or Krishna Premamayi Radha, Radha Premamayo Hari. That is our desire, that we want both of them together. That's devotional. We separate them, we enjoy Lakshmi without Narayan, then we are into the demon class. So the Vishesh term and the nirviśeṣ. Nirviśeṣ, Prabhupada is cautioning again, and I am repeating, nirviśeṣ should not be understood as something blank, undefined, vaguely defined. Like for example, many of these peace-loving apparent sadhus, everything is good, everything is calm, There's so much of love in the air. And devotee is like, where is it? Because that vagueness, that confused state, and many, market is full of them. You can find them. Because what they are talking about is only the Sat expression of the transcendence. The Chit and Anand expression is not fully realized. In fact, Anand in minuscule portion and Chit to some extent. Only Sat they are, and appreciating Sat. In material world, if you are carrying 40 kg on this shoulder, your shoulder becomes tired, you are not allowed to put the whole thing down. You only shift the weight. And you say, feeling light. No, there is nothing light, the weight has just come here. That's material life. I mean, even when we leave body, this, for a moment we feel extremely light. Because we are carrying so much of burden. Samsara, Dhavanal. So nirviśeṣ must be understood as spiritual variegatedness, full of spiritual variegate. Not that there is no variety in spiritual life, everybody is same. My kurta is made of cotton, your kurta is made of cotton, our reality is cotton. No. My reality is cotton as well as design. Both of them coming together. That's a complete thing. That's a complete understanding. So that is how it should be understood. Thank you very much. If there is any correction, comment or remark, please feel free. Yes. Okay, the two questions. It's okay.
I can put it. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, there are two doubts are there. If I do any mistake, kindly apologize for that. The one is Allah, Jehovah, Rama, Buddha, all are Krishna and one. God is not abstract. Then when all are one, why so many interpretations? And according to our ISKCON is concerned, Lord Krishna is only the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The answer is simple, Prabhuji. When the child is in grade 2, you don't introduce -1 to him. Because he doesn't understand -1. He says, what are you talking? As the child grows up, you introduce that, but you don't introduce polynomial equations to him. So, depending on various grades of consciousness, there exists a facility for the spiritual advancement. So, that version of spirituality is true, but it is partial version. As the advancement takes place, so the philosophy also advances. And therefore, you have God of Malechas and God of Yavanas and so on and so forth, ultimately coming to the Brahmin platform.
Achha, one more, Prabhu, that Srila Prabhupada in his Leelamrutam, Prabhupada said, however, insisted, he was not opposed to any other religion and therefore could chant the name of God as it is approved in that particular religion. So as remains, how we could say that Krishna consciousness is only the remedy and chant only Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
No, there are 99 names of Allah that are given, and those who are at that level of consciousness will certainly feel purified when they chant those names. And same is true, like Radhanath Maharaj once asked Mother Teresa, from where do you derive so much strength? And Mother Teresa took out her chanting beads and she said, from here. But she was chanting names of Jesus. So all names, bona fide names purify. For sure they purify. What level of explanation, whether it's Brahman platform, Paramatma platform or Bhagavan explanation. So we don't say Krishna consciousness only, that's the only, it depends on which stage. But because Lord confirms in Bhagavad Gita that even if that person is the most fallen person, even then if they take shelter of my process, I deliver them. But you may be at a very low stage, but Hare Krishna Mahamantra can take you back home, back to Godhead if you surrender. So there is no problem in chanting. Prabhupada said, Muslims and Christians are Vaishnavas because they believe in one God. So in that context they are true. But then Lord Chaitanya told Chandkazi, that your scriptures have been developed at a very later stage and there are certain inaccuracies in them. So we should know both of them. Yeah, thank you. Can we wrap? Okay, Mother. हाँ पूछिए. Yeah. No, that Mataji also wanted to ask. पूछिए.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम. विष्णु और नारायण, तो इसमें फर्क क्या है? जैसे हम बोलते हैं नारायण वैकुंठ में रहते हैं, तो विष्णु कहाँ रहते हैं? या नारायण जल में शयन करते हैं इसलिए नारायण, तो कौन से नारायण रहते हैं वैकुंठ में? तो विष्णु, ये सब हमको पूछते हैं, हम कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं.
नहीं माता जी, सरल बात है समझने की. मैंने कहा था, कैन आई गिव द आंसर इन हिंदी? ओके. मैंने कहा था कि आध्यात्मिक वातावरण और भौतिक वातावरण ऐसा नहीं होता कि वो वहाँ ये यहाँ. वही कृष्ण परमात्मा रूप में हमारे हृदय में विराजे हुए हैं, तो वो क्या भौतिक आवरण में थोड़ी विराजे हुए हैं? वो तो आध्यात्मिक हैं. जहाँ आध्यात्मिक चेतना है वहाँ आध्यात्मिक लोक है. पहले ये समझ ले. में दूसरा, भगवान विष्णु, भगवान नारायण, अभी मानिए आपके प्रभु जी हैं, अब जब वो घर पर हैं, आपके बच्चों के साथ हैं, तो वो एकदम कंफर्टेबल पोजीशन में हैं. फिर वो जब ऑफिस जाते हैं या दुकान पर जाते हैं तो एक सीमा बंध जाती है. तो जैसे वो घर में भी व्यवहार करते हैं वैसा व्यवहार आप ही के प्रभु जी हैं, सब कुछ सेम है, लेकिन वहाँ दुकान पर व्यवहार की मर्यादा और विधि दोनों बदल जाती है. तो भगवान कृष्ण में और भगवान नारायण में उस सेंस में भेद नहीं है. ये अच्छा प्रश्न है. कई बार हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि भगवान कृष्ण, हमको लगता है ये दोनों अलग अलग हैं, ये लोअर है ये हायर. एक ही आदमी है, खाली एक ने अपने आप को 16.66% ही दिखाया हुआ है, बस उसके आगे रोक लिया है, पर आदमी सेम है. तो हम जिनको अपने ईगो के प्लेटफॉर्म से डिफरेंशिएट कर रहे हैं वो ऑफेंस लग जाता है. इसलिए भगवान नारायण यहाँ जब फंक्शनल रोल में आते हैं, शिरोदक्षशाही, गर्भोदक्षशाही और कारणोदक, वो उनका फंक्शन है. अभी वो जॉब पे आए हैं. क्या जॉब है? लिविंग एंटिटीज, बद्ध जीवों के कल्याण के लिए, सुविधा बनाने के लिए. इसलिए वो जॉब पर हैं, पर उनमें और उनमें अंतर नहीं है, खाली एक सीमा बंध गई है. तो भगवान नारायण चाह कर भी गोपियों को आकर्षित नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि वो सीमा बंधी हुई थी. वो उसी रूप के लिए आकर्षित थी. समय हो चुका है. कैन वी टेक योर क्वेश्चन समटाइम नेक्स्ट, और यू वांट टू? ओके, आस्क क्विकली प्लीज.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, व्हाट डज द्रव्य मीन?
Oh, द्रव्य literally means some kind of a liquid. It also means in a material sense what we offer as a physical possession. So when you say I am conducting dravya yajna, so there the dravya has two meanings. One is what you give in ahuti, swaha, that's a dravya. Another is at the level of consciousness, things that you are attached to and you give them up for Krishna's pleasure, that's also dravya. So we perform dravya yajna. If you read when you read more Bhagavad Gita, you will come to this, that there is dravya yajna, then there is tapa yajna, then there is jnana yajna. So there are categories of yajna. So dravya yajna is giving your material possessions or offering your material possessions to Krishna. So that's dravya. But in transcendental sense in which I was referring to, it's loosely called mellows, rasa. Yeah? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरु महाराज की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद.